Hello everyone, welcome to Embedded Systems course with Arduino. So in today's session, we continue over top of last session. So in last session, we connected separate LEDs through push buttons and slide switches to Arduino. In today's session, we will take two separate LEDs. We take two separate LEDs and we take separate slide switch controls, which means we connect each LED through a separate slide switch to Arduino. So the components for today, right? So if we list down the components, so first will of course be our Arduino Uno R3. Second component for today is breadboard. Third is slide switch controls or the slide switch. So this will take two because we are taking two LEDs, right? Then fourth we have is two LED, right? And we need resistors. Right, so these are the five components we need for today, and we'll be connecting each LED through a separate slide switch to Arduino, right? So let's begin. Now the functions will be used whatever we have covered in last session, right? Digital read to read the state of the switches, right? And then to output the LED, right? Through digital pin controls, we will use the digital write function, right? And then of course to set the digital pins as input and output, we use the pin mode function. So these are same as what we had studied last and in previous sessions as well, right? So we can continue to designing our circuit. Let's begin. So we'll go over Tinkercad, create a new circuit slide, right? And already started creating it. So now let's go over the same session, right? So I'm just opening this session. Right, so now what I have taken two separate slide switch controls, right? If you see, right, slide switch 2, slide switch 1, right? I have taken two separate LEDs, a red LED, right, and I have taken a green LED, right? And then I have taken two separate resistors of 1 kilo ohm each, right? And of course an Arduino and a breadboard. So whatever components we had listed, we are taking now, right? And we'll connect. So the connection of course always remains the same. Let's give power supply to the breadboard, right? So first what we take the ground pin and connect to the minus row, right, the bottom row of the breadboard, and connect this minus row to the top bottom row, right, the top negative row, and give the ground volt to this, right? And then we take a 5-volt power pin and connect the plus row and the above plus row, so that now all these rows are at 5 and 0 volts respectively, right? And we have enough connections to make. So this breadboard will provide all the outputs, right? And enough output pins we can connect, right? Ultimately in physical boards you will connect jumper wires, right? As we had discussed, so you connect a male and a female connector, right, jumper wires to these, and ultimately connect to your LEDs, right, and to your slide switches. That is how in physical boards you will connect, right? So now what we have done, as I had told that this is a single pole double throw, right? So this is the input pole where we will read the value. But now what we'll do, we'll give one pole to the plus 5 volt, right, the red wire, right? This is at plus 5 and this is at 0 volt, the other pole. Now similarly this for the other slide switch also we'll give plus 5 volt to this and ground to this pole, right? And this one will be used as an input, right? So let's what we do, let's take 2 for the green LED, 2 as a 2 to read the first slide switch for the green LED, and this slide switch will read it on the third pin, right? And let's output the LED on the 13th for red and 12th on the green. So let's make the connection, no issue. So first let's take this and connect to here, right? And let's read this on, what I say is you can read this on, let's read this on the second digital pin, right? Agree? So this slide switch will be read from the second digital pin. We'll configure second as an input and read it, right? And let's make the this LED connection also, right? So let's read this on the 12th. Okay. Any other output pins also you can take, right? So this connection is done. Now let's connect this also. So I told that let's read this switch at 3, right? Let's read this at 3, right? So now this is connected to 3. So 3 will be configured as an input and will be used to read the state of this switch, right? And let's configure the red LED. Let's read this at 13. Okay, right? So this switch, what we will do, this switch we will use to control the red LED, right? The slide switch 1, right? And the slide switch 2 we'll use to control the green LED. 2 for green, 1 for red. Okay. So that is how we will control. We will read the slide switch 1 from the second digital pin, and we will output the green LED from the 12th digital pin. We will read the second slide switch from the third digital pin, and we will output the red LED through the 13th digital pin, right? So 2 and 3 have to be configured as an input, and 12th and 13 has to be configured as an output. So I hope that everyone agrees, right? So now let's see what we have done, right? So one time setup we need to do, right? So let's do the initialization here, right, inside the setup task, right, one time. So 12th and 13th, right, are for LEDs driving the LED outputs. So we are configuring them as an output. If you see here, right, 12 as an output pin, and the value is output, right, mode is output, right, and 2 and 3 is used to read the state of the switches. So those are configured as an input. 2 and 3 are input, right? So pin mode is configured. Now these pins are configured. How have they how should they be driven, right? Now what we do, based on, I told you, like we'll read the state of the switch, right? If it is on, if it is at 5 volts, let's connect the LED. So by default it is 5. So once this Arduino gets the power and the breadboard gets the power and this gets 5 volt, the LED will be on, right? So we are reading the digital read 2. So right, we read the state of the switch, pass it to a variable switch state 1, right? And if the switch state 1 is high, like if it is connected to a high volt, right, let's drive the LED output pin, which is 12. I told you, because this is controlling the green, and this green LED is controlled by the 12th pin. 12 to high, wait for wait for 100 milliseconds, that is 1000 milliseconds, right? And that is what. So and then again drive it to low and wait for 1000 milliseconds, right? And similarly we do it for the red LED. Now for sure, since the red LED is getting driven after the green LED, so that is how the order will be, right? So let's I hope you agree, right? So similarly, we are reading from the third pin the state of this switch which controls the red LED, and based on that switch state condition, we drive the red LED to high and low respectively. So starting the simulation, right? See, first green, because green function or the green task or the switch is red first, and accordingly the output is driven. So green will all toggle first and post that red, right? So I'll stop this and start again just to see the spec. See, green and then red, right? So now what I do, I'll put this red LED off, right? So this will never be driven, only green is blinking, right? It waits for 1 second, off on, right? That is what the code does. Now let's put this off. So both are off, right? You see both are off. Now let's connect only the red LED. So only the red LED is blinking, right? You are able to see, right? Now also let's again blink both, right? So this is how it is, right? I hope you agree to this, right? So similarly, we can off, and if both are off, right? Now both are in off condition, nothing is blinking, right? I put the red to on, and that is how it is blinking, right? It's reading the state of the switch and driving the LED. That's what, right? High and low for 1 second each. So that is how it's blinking, right? So this is how we can connect multiple LEDs through switches, multiple switches to Arduino, right? And so this can be used at multiple places to design games and all these things, right? So this was an example how to connect multiple LEDs through multiple slide switch controls to Arduino. Thank you.